Um, the last crystals, and I actually thought about whether I wanted to talk about these in this video or in another video, but I think that video might end up being a really super long one. But I thought I'd just squeeze these in before I talk about green crystals. Or I might have to do a part 2. I think I'm gonna do part 2. So anyways, these 3 sets of crystals are called Spirit Quartz. And Spirit Quartz is good for, I believe it's good for, how do I not remember this? Spirit Quartz. I believe it is with the heart chakra. Spirit Quartz. Okay, so Spirit Quartz, it's merging with the higher self. So as I mentioned with the shadow self, you also have the higher self. The higher self is the part of you where you feel you are at your greatest, right? You're at your greatest. It's when you're performing at your highest optimal self. The part of you that you strive to be. And the Spirit Quartz helps to merge, for you to merge with the higher self. So the shadow self, the self that is conscious, the conscious, and the higher self. And so it's also really good for purification, protection, spiritual evolution, and freedom from fear. And so at this moment in time too, we are also in this, there's a lot of fear around, right? Fear of losing others, fear of not knowing what is going to happen. And so Spirit Quartz is good for that. Spirit Quartz just helps you to kind of sit with yourself and address those fears. Kind of come to terms with, okay, it's okay to fear this, but how do I release myself from being entangled in this fear? Making decisions that are fear-based, rather than making decisions that sit okay with the fear but can still progress in life, can still navigate life. Spirit Quartz can bring peace of mind and freedom from fear. From the book that I'm reading, it says, as most of us are aware, fear governs much of human behavior, right? Like we make decisions based on, a perfect example of financial loss, right? Not having a home, losing everything, losing the things that you feel protect you, or the things that help you to survive. And so a lot of our decision making is based on that, right? We choose, say, like we apply for a job, we choose between a job that's going to pay $100,000 a year, or a job that we're gonna love but only pay $60,000 a year. Where a lot of people will decide to choose the job that will pay $100,000 a year, even though it's not a job that you want. And so the reason why we do that is because it's more money. It'll help provide. Even though the $60,000 a year will be enough for you to live and survive by, you're gonna pick the $100,000 because some people may think that getting paid $100,000 a year will have enough to provide and then some to either spend recreationally or to save, right? We're also in this mentality of constantly wanting to save. And sometimes in severe situations, if we are always in the state of fear of losing things, constantly saving and not being able to let go can also cause hoarding situations. And so Spirit Quartz works with letting go of that fear of losing things, right? A fear of not knowing what's going to happen. Being released from the fear of not knowing what's going to happen helps you to be more present, to be more content with your present time, being okay with what you are dealing with right now rather than sitting on the couch and worrying about what's going to happen in 3 months, right? Rather, it's going to help you deal with, okay, I'm home with my family. I know everybody is safe. Everybody has food. If we have food, if we need to go out and get food tomorrow because we're running low on something, it's okay. We'll have a plan tomorrow, right? So those are some of the processes of thinking in terms of working with freedom of fear, right? It's okay to still be aware of this loss, but not being paralyzed by it. So, Spirit Quartz is also called cactus quartz because of these little tiny crystals. Almost looks like popcorn, right? When we're thinking about popcorn textures, painting textures, it has these little popcorn crystals on the side. They're really cute and really pretty. They have a kind of like glittery effect because of all the little surfaces of the crystals. And so I have 3. I don't work with these as I would for meditation. I like to keep them on my little crystal shelf, but yeah, this is what spirit crystals do, and it's definitely one that you can use to work with your heart chakra, right? So that you're not always afraid of who's gonna betray you, going back to the betrayal example. So it helps you to be content with the fact that, yes, not everyone is going to be nice, but how do I open my heart up to still send out loving energy, unconditional love and kindness to others, right? So there's that. And I think what I have decided is I will do a part 2. So for those who stuck it around up until this point, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out part 2 for this set of crystals, and they are green crystals, and so I'll go into how green connects with the heart chakra.